We are going to be making quite a few changes to the looks of the app. So I've already made quite a few of these changes, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through what changes you need to make because it will look a whole lot better when you're done. In fact, I'm going to run this so you can see what it's going to look like when you are all done with the changes. Okay, so that looks a lot better and it is responsive. Okay, so let me close that out. We are going to start by modifying the site CSS file. That is located in www.root. Okay, you have to expand the CSS folder and it is right here. Now there's two different ways you could do this. You could keep the site CSS and add your own style sheet, right? You can right click, go to add, new item, and then you could pick style sheet from here. Okay, so you could add your own, or you can modify the site. Okay, so what they had us do is modify the site, and so you will change it to what I have displayed. And it's not a whole lot of CSS. And then once you have made that change, the next change we're going to make is we're actually going to create a layout CSHTML file. And we're also going to define a start page. And so the layout CSHTML, which you no longer have because we deleted it, that has to go in the shared folder. And if you put it in the wrong spot, your app is not going to work. So you're going to want to right click, add, new item. Web is what we want, and we want the razor layout. Okay, and what you're going to get, I already have one in there, so that's why mine had a 1 on it. But yours is going to say under an underscore layout.cshtml, and you're going to click on add. Okay, and that is going to go right into your shared folder. And it's going to have like a basic skeleton in it. And what you're going to want to add to that is the site CSS. You don't need to put in the bootstrap yet. We're going to do that in a couple of steps. But you do need the site CSS. And so you will have a tilde, which means start at the top, then open the CSS folder and pull in site.css. And this is added as a link like you would any external style sheet. And it's put in between the opening and the close head in the HTML. Okay, and you don't need to worry about Bootstrap quite yet. So make sure you get the site CSS in there. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to create this view start file. All the view start file has in it is it says that the views are going to use the layout. That's basically all it says. And you'll notice that does not go into shared. So that goes in the views main folder. So what you're going to do is right click, add, new item, and you want view start. And by default, yours should be called underscore view start.cshtml, and it will have the correct code in it. All you have to do is click on add, and then yours will look just like mine. Okay, and make sure that it is located in the view folder. It should not be in home or shared. It should just be in view. Your layout needs to be in shared. And the reason these locations are important is because that is where MVC looks for the files when it runs. And if you put it in the wrong spot, you're going to get a runtime error. Okay, so let's go ahead and save those changes. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to modify our index.cshtml to match what they have in the book. And let's see, where's mine? So I have some extra code in mind that you're not going to add yet. So why don't I change? I'm going to pause a second and get my extra code out of here so you don't get confused. All right, so basically we changed the layout from none to adding a title. View data is similar to a view bag. It passes data back and forth. Then we've got our form, and you'll notice that we've taken out all of the structured HTML5 tags. We took out doc type, we took out the head section, we took out body, and we've kind of just left our H1 heading and the form. And this is what is going to get pulled into layout. And it gets pulled in at this render body point. And so that's why our layout has all the structure stuff in it. Now to liven this up a little bit, we are going to download a money graphic and add it. But we have to put a folder in our root directory first. And so I'm going to right click on root, go to add, and we're going to do a new folder, and we're going to call it images. And this is where we're going to put all of our graphics. So it's in that images folder that we are going to be saving this money graphic to. So I'm going to right click on it, save link as, and you can see I've done this before. So you guys probably aren't going to go right to your image folder. So I'm guessing you guys are going to be somewhere like this. So what you're going to have to do is navigate to your C drive, users, and your username, source, repos. And then I've got my stuff organized in folders. So I'm just going to navigate to future value and www root. That's where images is. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And that is where I'm going to save the graphic. Now, if I come back in here, I see images, and here is my graphic. And if you point and pause, you should see it. That's kind of an indicator that your download worked. So let's go ahead and save everything. And at this point, we are going to be adding some code. If you haven't done this yet, we are going to go into layout, and we're going to add this code into the head section. And what this code is going to do is it's going to pull in our Bootstrap library. But we're actually going to do a little different library. In fact, I am going to change that. The library that we're going to pull in is this grid one. And that's because we're going to use the grid layout. That's the whole purpose of pulling this in, is to get that responsive grid layout. Okay, so this is what you want to enter. And where that is located. And you can kind of see if you've been following along. Tilde is the start. Okay, and then it's going to go to the lib folder. And inside lib, we have Bootstrap. Inside Bootstrap, we have dist for distribution. Then we have CSS. And the one we want is this grid one, because that is the one with the responsive layout. You can actually see the classes and everything right here. Okay, so that's what we're pulling in. And now we're going to use it. So let's go over to our index. And so to use this, and you're going to learn a lot more about Bootstrap in a couple weeks. But Bootstrap uses the division tag, and it uses classes. And so we are going to separate this into 2 rows. So our first row, I think we are going to put here, and then we're going to have a second row here. Oops, move that all the way to the bottom. All right, so we've got 2 rows, and in our first row, this title is going to take up the whole width. So we're just going to do column dash 12. In our second row, the form is going to be in the first column, and that's going to take up 6, which is about half. Okay, and then at the bottom, right above, right after the closing form, we're going to put in our image tag. And now we have to give it the address, which is ~images/ and then I can just select money. Well, I'm going to do my little alt tag, which is money growing. And then for the class, I'm going to do call for. I mean, I could do 5 or 6. Technically, 4, 5, and 6 all should work. But I'm going to do 4, and then I'm going to do image/fluid, which makes my image responsive. Okay, so that is the class in Bootstrap to make your images responsive. And we can play around. I mean, you can try column 5 and 6. You don't want to be bigger than 6 though, because then it won't fit on a row. Okay, so let's save this. And then let's go ahead and run it. And here it is. Now, let's close that. You know, if you're curious, we could change this to a 6. The image should look bigger if we do it at a 6, and it should still, yes, it does. And it should still be side by side. Okay, so I'll let you guys pick. You can be 4, 5, or 6. It doesn't matter. Okay, and when you are done running it, you can go ahead and close. Just close the running app because we have more to do to this. Don't close future value.